Well, Santa Anita Park opening day, normally December 26th, but sometimes good things have to wait. Patience is a virtue, all those things you were told. We're going to wait until Sunday, so we have a couple of extra days to handicap after the holidays, but it's a big card, and Bailey Armour and I are going to dive into the late pick 5, which includes both of the grade 1s, La Brea and the Malibu. Big fields in both. Bob Baffert well represented. Up next on Horse Sense.
Welcome back to another episode of Horse Sense. As always, I'm Bailey Armour, joined alongside our world-famous holiday enthusiast, Scott Shapiro, for a special edition of Horse Sense this week. It is the week of Christmas. We're filming this on Tuesday, December the 23rd, so you'll have plenty of run-up for this week's episode into opening day at Santa Anita on Sunday, like Scott mentioned in that cold intro there. So, of course, Southern California is getting a ton of rain this week. So Santa Anita, out of an abundance of caution, moved their opening day from traditionally the Friday of Christmas week to this upcoming Sunday, which just means that you have more time to handicap the card and play in our $10,000 exactathon on that card. So we're bringing that back. You know it, you love it, you've played in it before. If you hit 5 or more exactas on the Santa Anita card on Sunday, you'll win your share of $7,500 in bonus cash. So a big jump from the one that we just ran on Pegasus Preview Day at Gulfstream. And then if you hit the most overall exactas out of those 11 races on the card, you'll win your share of an extra $2,500 in bonus cash. So overall, $10,000 on the line there for you wonderful folks at home. And then chronologically, before we get to that, Gulfstream is running on Christmas Eve on the 24th. That will come with our daily double set of promotions, 10 times first rewards points on the full card there, and then a $2,400 hit and split, because it's December the 24th, on the late pick 4. So those will be those promotions then. And then Gulfstream has another very solid card on this upcoming Saturday on the 27th. That'll come with a 20% win boost from Xpressbet and FirstBet, up to $25 per player when you win your wagers on the card. And that's just on win bets. That's too many times to say win, but you get what I'm saying. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching Horse Sense. Just a special little holiday shout out to all of you. We so appreciate all the time you have spent with us this year watching Horse Sense, your comments, your feedback, talking to us on social media, and we hope that we have maybe taught you something, maybe given you some good horses along the way. Just feeling very festive, very appreciative on this Festivus Day. Scott, what about you?
Enthusiastic for the holidays as always. I mean, I am holiday king.
That's right.
They actually named a bowl game after me, the Holiday Bowl. So
yeah, exactly.
I am so into it. But Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there. Happy New Year. We'll be recording one before New Year. Yes. So sort of Happy New Year. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun day, Sunday fun day. Real good card here that we're going to dive into, in the building ticket segment of the show. But also a part of the big day is the $1,500 Santa Anita Opening Day Challenge, and that's the headliner on this week's tournament menu. So that's definitely, I think it's a good buying point. I think, sometimes $6,000, $5,000 takes a lot to qualify for. You got to spend a lot to get into those already. A lot of people aren't ready to, pony up that money. This is a little bit of a more, you could play a couple $100 feeders and get in. People have already done that, I know, and whatnot. But and then we'll have plenty of feeders after the challenge for some upcoming tournaments at Santa Anita as well. So we're really excited about the Santa Anita meet, and we're excited to talk about this normal Boxing Day card on the 28th. Well, a lot of great action on this Santa Anita card, as we've already hyped it up quite a bit. So let's get to the meat and potatoes, which is the late pick 5. Well, a lot of meat and potatoes on this card, but the late pick 5 is some serious stuff, both for those who like horizontals, and also you got an all-turf pick 3, 15% takeout, $3 minimum, all kinds of horizontal options. We're going to talk about the races kind of in horizontal thoughts, but kind of, it's Tuesday morning. We're going to talk about it. Overall, we've got thoughts. We haven't made our ticket yet, per se. I'm going to have my final full card selections up for this on Saturday morning, ahead of the Sunday card. So you can take a look at those for my final thoughts. But Bailey, let's dive in. We've got the sequence includes the 2 grade 1s. It also includes some other stake, 4 stakes races, right? You got the 2 stakes on the turf, and you got the 2 ones on the dirt. Kicks off, though, down the hill with a first level allowance event. And I don't know. I'll throw it to you. Did you have any thoughts here, or just openly? Or I mean, we're not gonna dive in detail to every horse, every race. We're gonna talk, just like we're sitting around talking, like we try to do here often, and hopefully provide some information that can help.
Yeah, I went through, I think I have at least one horse that I want to talk to you and our lovely audience about in every race. Of course, as a turf sprint, I got to have an opinion, right? The one that I want to continue to take a closer look at here is the number 10 Hot Rocket. I've got my past performances to the right and my notes in front of me, so we're really technical today. This is a Michael McCarthy horse ridden by Umberto Rispoli. Now, he's cutting back in distance. He was running in Ireland, came over to the Southern California circuit. This is only his second appearance at Santa Anita, but the, fourth career time that he'll team up with Rispoli, cutting way back in distance. And he's a closer, or has been, in those route races. So you assume that that's going to continue over to the 6.5 sprint, which is a longer edition as far as sprint distances go. Based on his running style, I like the way that he's drawn outside instead of getting stuck maybe in some of that traffic. So hopefully he'll be able to run clear at the end there as they round that turn. Of course, we know that the downhill turf course with that right-hand turn is unique to Santa Anita. And he's 8-1 on the morning line. So this is one that I would definitely include in my ticket and maybe take a look at playing some single race wagers on this horse, just because of his price as it stands now on Tuesday, which is a long way away from Saturday. So we'll see. But I'm pretty intrigued by this one and the move that they're doing here.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of worries about that one being way too far out of it, on the cutback, has no speed.
He's got to be fast.
Yeah, so I worry about horses coming way out of it, but maybe he will get a setup. For me, I'm going to just flock to the two horses in here that have the most form down the hill, because it's obviously a unique configuration. You've got Anmoore Hall, who I think is obvious, because not only is he good at winning at 6.5, a tricky distance at Santa Anita, he even did it at Kentucky Downs recently. The problem with him and being fully trusting in him as a single or whatnot is he's down on the rail and he's going to need to work at a trip. And there's some speed, but I don't know how much. To the point with your horse where I was worried about Hot Rocket, the same could be said for Anmoore Hall. So I don't have it in me to toss this horse. I think he's the likeliest winner. But the other one I'm going to use is the 8, and that's Mucho Del Oro, who's going to get the jump.
That's my second choice.
Yeah, I'm worried about Bally Von Gig battling with this one and costing him a chance. But the start last time out, he got out of the gate slow, which is a little concerning. Maybe he's not showing the same speed he used to. If that's the case, he's in big trouble. But, man, he's got a lot of form over this course. He's got a lot of form over this hill. He's 5 for 11. He's kind of, not down on the inside. I like being closer to the outside. To your point about the post, this is a course where post does matter without question. So I think those are the two that I'm going to use to get out of here and actually feel pretty comfortable, because I think a lot of these other horses are going to be way out of it, like yours.
Oh, leave me alone. Mucho Del Oro, the 8, was my second choice horse in this one that I would also include on my ticket. And that's how I can tell that we've been doing this long enough that if I don't talk about a horse, I think that there's a chance we're both going to like him. I'm like, well, Scott will get to him. I don't have to worry about that. Anyway.
Oh, you're such a new pro, man. I mean,
I'm an expert. I've been doing this for 60 years. Don't you know?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. On to Brea. She's ready to move on to the 3-year-old chicks. She's had enough. All right. First of 2 grade 1s on the dirt course at Santa Anita, the traditional features. Going way back. I was at these cards a number of times. You got 5G shipping in as one of the favorites off the bench, cutting back for George Weaver and Irad. Would expect to take that one to take money. You've got a plethora of Bob Baffert runners, including Usha and Brilliantly, and then you got Silent Law to the outside, and then the 3-1 favorite is a affiliate that's done very little wrong thus far, and that is number 9 Formula Rosa. Lots of options here. I found this race to be a little bit tricky. What say you?
Yeah, I think this one is kind of tough. You've got a lot of these gals coming off of layoffs significantly in the case of 5G, like you said, who was on the Oaks Trail and then was scratched from the Oaks and sidelined, didn't make that debut, and then now we're seeing her come back. It's hard for me to trust horses coming off of a layoff like that. I think that might just be a personal bias, but I just can't do it. So I took another look at Brilliantly, the number 6 for Bob Baffert. I will say my biggest concern is the class jump here because she only has 3 career starts, and the last one was an optional claimer at Del Mar for 50,000. So up to a grade 1 is big, but he's done it before, so it's not like the end of the world here. She just got nabbed last time. I think that him trying to, read some of the tea leaves here, putting against some of these other ones, clearly she has a shot. And at the 6-1, being the 6, I will take that hunch bet and that educated guess with this one.
Yeah, interesting. The blinkers came off last time off the layoff, a move Bob usually has some success with. This one was down on the inside. You would have liked to have seen her run better, but she seems to be training extremely forwardly. In fact, colleague of ours, Jeremy Plonk, very good at watching the works, made a point to note to me that Brilliantly is training exceptionally well. So I expect her to be on the lead. Whether she gets pressed into defeat is the question. I'm with you on 5G. I really thought this horse was talented. I don't know how talented, but the Honeybee, she ran great with Quiet Side, but it was speed favoring that day. She's had a lot of her success at Gulfstream. I think we're asking a lot for her. She's going to have, to ship out west off the bench on the cutback with an inside trip. So I think she's worth trying to beat as well. George Weaver's only 3 starts over the last 5 years at the Great Race Place. All 3 Breeders' Cup races, little success. So not much to make there of it because he hasn't sent out runners just on these other days. But it usually is a tall task for East Coast shippers to ship out west. In the past, it used to be very tough. It's gotten a little easier as kind of the strength has shifted a little. To me, I think it's Brilliantly and Formula Rosa. Those are the 2 I like most in here. I do wonder if Silent Law will get different tactics. Putting Joel Rosario up and being on the outside, I don't know if this horse has any desire to rate, but if she's ever going to, maybe today would be the day. And if that happens, she could be capable of springing an upset. I do think she finished her last race, even though she got second, a little stronger than a lot of her other races when she's tired. So very tough addition to La Brea, and looking forward to that one. I know you are as well. As we head to the San Gabriel, which is the 3rd leg of this late pick 5, leg 2 of the all-turf pick 3, and kicks off that late pick 3, which is definitely one of the best bets. All meet at Santa Anita, $3 minimum, again, 15% takeout. Really enjoyable wager along with that late double. But any thoughts in this one?
Yes, absolutely. I am all in on Cabo Spirit here. I love this horse. He's one of my favorite Southern California turf horses. He was very kind to me at 24-1 last year in a solid pick 5 score. So when he's in the entry box, my eyes are always going to go right to him. He gets back to Mike Smith, who I think has ridden him the best in his most recent starts. He was 6th in this year's edition of it last year and was leading the whole way by like a length. And then got nabbed at the end there. He just probably wasn't quite fit enough. I don't know. I don't want to speculate there. But he knows these Southern California graded stakes, Santa Anita, Del Mar, like the back of his hand, back of his hoof, maybe. So at 8-1, getting Mike Smith back. He's a fast horse. He knows this course and he likes it and he does well at it. It's pretty clear cut for me, Cabo Spirit.
Well, I looked at this race and I didn't see a lot of speed either. So I think this race is a little ripe as well. You look around, you've got who's like the favorite's going to be. It's pretty well distributed. I think Stay High will be the favorite. I think he'll be up closer. I think he's got a shot, but with Irad, he probably gets over bet a little bit. I don't know if he's worth that.
Yeah.
I think both Nesso's Last Hurrah and your horse Cabo Spirit are very interesting here. The only thing I'm worried about, and I'm hopeful that they won't have that happen, is them dueling, because I think both of them could be loose and could sit 1-2. And if they play their cards right, there's not going to be a lot of running from the back. I just don't see a lot of speed. If they happen to hook up, then that might change. But yeah, Mike Smith gets back. It was Umberto Rispoli on Cabo last time. Umberto, obviously, at this point in his career, a much more accomplished turf rider than Mike. But Mike just sends this horse, and Umberto a little less aggressive at times. And I think it might be a difference. He also got caught a little wide last time out. But yeah, I think this race is a little ripe for a speed horse as well. I think Astronomer's going to get over bet, Bailey. He had some of that traffic trouble along the inside on a video you watch where people usually get attracted to that. He's 0 for 6 over this course. You can't find his last win with a telescope. I am going to pass him at 9-2. The Malibu. the boys. And this is a good one, Bailey. Sometimes we get some small fields for this. This is a good field. We've got Bafferts up the wazoo and good ones, or former good ones, you could argue. Obviously, ones that have had quite a lot of talent. I know you're not on cornucopian, but who are y'all?
No. I mean, half of the field is Bafferts in this one. You could throw a dart and pick the one that you think is best, and we'll just see what happens.
Why not analyze it instead of throwing a dart?
Well, if you would let me finish, I'm going to. I'm on Barnes here with Jose. I think of this contingent, he's probably the one that I trust the most. I think they're all very fast. I think that he's probably the fastest today. We know that he likes this kind of vibe. The 7 furlongs, he really shines at. I can't get through my notes here. I mean, I don't see any reason not to like Barnes in this race.
Okay. I don't necessarily despise Barnes. He's going to be the favorite. I think he's you look back at the race he ran last time, and at the time I didn't like him in the race, and in fact no one did. Captain Cook ended up going off favored. Captain Cook ran poorly. It's much slower. He bounced big time off that race. And Owen Almighty has been bad. So I'm wondering what he beat in that field still a little bit, because he wasn't really that good in his race before that, if you remember. I think Goal Oriented is going to get a really good trip on the cutback here. The blinkers go off, a move Bob has excellent stats with pretty much all the time. They've never been off before, which tells me this horse is relaxing better in the mornings. And I think he's been able to kind of show that he belongs with some of the tops in the country, finishing third in the Haskell. You remember the fourth? That was the fourth in the Preakness was that craziness when journalism almost went down. Those are long races. He ran third to Baeza and Magna. I mean, he has kept the best company in this field, in my opinion. And if he takes to the trip, which I think he will after chasing a very fast pace in the Breeders' Cup there. My own look, Bob thought enough of this 3-year-old to run him in the Breeders' Cup, and he did not think enough of his other one. So, to me, oriented, if he's anywhere near 5-1, makes a lot of sense here on the cutback, just able to kind of make his own trip on the outside with the others all to his inside.
I'm not mad at it.
You're what?
I said I'm not mad at it.
That must be something us boomers don't know. I'm my parents are boomers, but I like the term. It's funny. All right, we'll close it out with the American Oaks, which I'm going to, you're the headliner here. I know this is a race you're excited to talk about. Quite frankly, I'll be the first to admit I need a little more data. I need my thoroughgraphs to sort this out a little bit with some of these European horses shipping in and whatnot. This will obviously be included in my full card selections on Saturday, as well as some other conversations that I'll have over the course of the week. Of course, the first call podcast with Jeremy Plonk, but I know you like someone in here. You were pulling out hammers to me this morning. So
I was pulling out hammers. This is one. Just bear with me on this, okay? This is probably the horse that I am most excited of this entire sequence to see run. One that I will be playing some significant single race wagers on this filly. Yeah, she's still a filly. That's the number 8. Totally Justified. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I?
They're all 3-year-old fillies. They're all fillies.
Yes. Thank you for that. 3-year-old filly. What?
Justify it.
I'm trying. You got to let me finish talking.
Get it? No, Totally Justified.
I have to start shouting over you. Okay, Totally Justified. She just sold for $775,000 at the phasing sale that they did right at the Breeders' Cup to Payson Stud as a racing and broodmare prospect. You don't really see a lot of those racing and broodmare prospects come back to run so quickly, and so this was automatically unexpected. She's multiple graded stakes place and has a pedigree out the wazoo. She's been training at the Thoroughbred Training Center in Lexington. Of course, Keeneland owns their track, obviously. Horses train there, and then Chip will also train at the Thoroughbred Training Center, which is where I used to work. You don't see a lot of grade 1 California horses coming out of the Thoroughbred Training Center. So my alarm bells are automatically going off. They're taking the blinkers off, and they've swapped her trainer from Rusty Arnold to Anna Mia, who has very few stakes horses in her barn right now in general, let alone a California grade 1 horse. Everything about this was so unique, I guess is the best word that I would describe at this situation. She's 5-1, which I think is a generous price. She has been very fast historically and has not been out of this graded stakes company for a year of her previous starts when she was in the Rusty Arnold barn. So the fact that they went to her for the sale, took her home, she was in Kentucky, and then now is back at Santa Anita. I mean, what do they know that I don't know? And it clearly has to be something big, because I just haven't seen anything like this. Not necessarily before, but in recent form that I can remember at all. So everything is just drawing me to this horse immediately, and I want everyone to know about it.
Well, I've got multiple thoughts without having all the data that I like. First, I think it's a great sign that Juan Hernandez is aboard. I mean, that,
Mhm.
as a local rider to ride for Anna Mia, who's not local, is very interesting. Probably the most positive sign I can find, because this is not a move Anna Mia has ever had success doing.
No.
Buying a horse for this kind of money, shipping out west. She did, to be fair, her husband, if I believe it must be still her husband, David Mia, was definitely Southern California based when I was out there. So I assume if they knew each other, so they know the terrain, I'm sure. So
Right.
it's a lot to ask, 1 for 11, but it looks as if there's something live about this filly, but either, whether it's Anna Mia who thinks it or everybody, I don't know. It's a very interesting entry. The more I know this filly, pretty well, because she's raced in Kentucky and
Yeah, we've seen her a bunch.
she's kept good company. I think she'll appreciate, she's going to get some class relief in this field, even though it's a grade 1. And she, it looks like you got to be careful. The last thing I'll say before we close this out is, with grade 1s in these 3-year-old races at the end of the year, you got to be a little careful, because there's none like them at the point of the year. And it's not a knock on the quality of the races, but for instance, a horse like Brilliantly that you mentioned, moving up, from an allowance to a third to a grade 1, that would be a bigger step to me for a 3-year-old, for the Derby or for that time of year, versus now. I think, a lot of 3-year-olds are shut down. A lot of them are retired. A lot of them are prepping for their 4-year-old campaign. So it's kind of a logical move. And you look back at La Brea's, and Malibu's and American Oaks in the past, and you'll see that allowance horses have stepped up and won, kind of like the now horse, if you will, versus, horses maybe that have had more arduous campaigns. I don't know if that makes sense.
As always, thank you so much for watching another edition of Horse Sense on this special holiday version. We here are wishing you and your family and all the ones that you love a fantastic holiday season and a very happy and prosperous new year. Hopefully you can pick up some prosperity this weekend on that big Santa Anita card on Sunday, December the 28th. And make sure that you're opting into all of the promotions I mentioned, the $10,000 Exactathon, the Gulfstream Win Boost, the Daily Double promotions at Gulfstream on Christmas Eve. We'll see you next time on Horse Sense.